I started channeling in the fall of 2013, and I
Oh, it's been a
didn't,
while.
yeah, and I didn't like, I think I'm going to channel and set out to do it. It sort of happened to me, and I use air quotes because, we always decide what we want to experience prior to incarnation. So I'm thinking, oh, what's going on here? When of course it was part of the plan to begin with. But yeah, it's been a while, but it was sort of a what on earth is going on with me sort of moment.
Yeah, I've heard that for a lot of people who have channeled in the past. It's something that's it's either they kind of thrown into it, they don't really realize that they're doing it, and then until they go to somebody who is a channeler to figure out what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
Now, you do Reiki too as well. Now, did you do Reiki prior to your channeling, or was the channeling first, then your Reiki?
Channeling came first, and I had, because I'm a weirdo, right? So I have interest in all of these subjects, but I never saw myself doing any of them. And I don't like to refer to myself as a Reiki practitioner, but it's a name that people recognize, though I am certified in several different Reiki modalities. I didn't want to get certified in Reiki because I kind of dug my heels in when the angel that I channel was trying to get me to learn it. I'm like, nope, not doing it. Nope. Because my belief is that really, when I channel Ian, he's doing energy healing through me. So a human didn't need to teach me this, right? And so I was like, why do I need to get certified in something that another human has to teach me how to do, and then gives me a piece of paper that says I know how to do it, when that's not how the gentleman who started Reiki was even taught. And that's not what's going on with me. I don't need a human. I don't need a piece of paper. That said, people love pieces of paper that say that you know how to do something because a human taught you how to do it.
Yeah.
And so at first I was like, nope, not doing it. And then when I started channeling Kuan Yin, she was like, if you could just do it, just suck it up and do it. And so they knew I wouldn't do it if I had to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on it. And really, I think the only reason they wanted me to do it was to be attuned to the energy, because I don't use the symbols. Those are just tools. You don't need any of that. But Kuan Yin's energy aligns with that of Reiki more. It's more of a divine feminine, soft, gentle energy, whereas Ian's is like sticking a finger in a light socket, a little more active and divine masculine. So yes, I'm a Reiki channeler, and I do it, but mostly it's just kind of in my toolbox because I had to also learn how to do pranic healing, because a lot of what Ian does with my hands when I'm channeling him for the energy healing looks like what pranic healing looks like. I didn't need to get certified in it because I just had to recognize what Ian was doing through me and go, oh, he's moving my hand like this because he's doing this with the energy. So people don't need certifications unless they aren't, well, I'll say this: if you were not born an energy healer and you don't have some divine being working through you to do it through you, you can get taught by other people. That's not a bad thing, but it's also not a requirement, if that makes sense. Sorry, that was like a bit of a tangent there.
No, no, no. It was
But
no, it was fantastic. Yeah, a lot of people they use Reiki as, like I always say, it's like their gateway to open
yes,
them up to energy, and that's what I was kind of like looking at. Because a lot of people will get their Reiki initiations, and that opens them up spiritually. Like they're
yes,
looking for something. It's always like I say, it's like their gateway drug.
yeah,
You start with Reiki and you learn about Reiki, and then you get attuned, and then everything starts to open up, and then your psychic abilities and everything else just starts moving and flowing, and you start working that. And that's where what I was really looking at as far as you go. But it looks like it just like it started happening for you. So if people
mhm.
ask you, what is channeling? Because there's sometimes a lot of confusion around what channeling is.
Yeah, and channeling is a lot more than what people seem to think it is. And I say that because people hear channeling and they think, oh, that's what a divine being, or maybe not divine, depending on who you're working with, is speaking through you out of your mouth. And yes, that is one aspect of channeling. But really, anyone who is a psychic medium or an intuitive is doing a form of channeling, because whether you're channeling your higher self or you're channeling divine beings, and you are the being through which these messages are being passed. If you are the medium for these messages, you're channeling. So you don't have to do what's called direct channeling, which is when the entity is literally speaking through you. You can do passive channeling.
Is
So
that
channeling really encompasses a lot of different things.
is that what you're doing? Are you doing passive channeling? Is there a unique blending of your energy with the angelic energy? What happens to you physically when that happens? So when do you call upon Ian, or is it basically you're going into a healing session, he shows up and things just start happening? So how does it work for you? How's your process work?
So Ian and I merged energetically. It's probably, I think it was sometime in 2014. We finally had because he's extremely high vibrational. He's up in the seraphim realm, which is just below Elohim, which is just below source energy. If any of you know your angelic orders, I don't know what.
We'll touch on that, but that's good. It's very important because I wanted to touch on that too. But we'll go back to that.
Okay, so and I don't ask me what dimension that is. It's high. That's all I know. And it's so high that, as a human, my vibration had to get higher, and he had to kind of reach down to me vibrationally so that our energies could merge. And he's connected to me through the back of my heart chakra. And so we're just always connected. So there is no like, I call and he comes. We're together because there is no time and space, right? So it's not like I'm carrying him around like a balloon connected to the back of my heart chakra. You know what I mean? There is no time and space. So we're always connected. And so when I go in to do like an energy healing, it's like he knows, so we're just bang, we start, and he will start moving me. I'll see things. I might hear words in my head, or this part is sort of like describing the smell of the color 9 to people who aren't intuitive, but it's like having knowings and understandings just put in your mind, which is claircognizant. And sometimes he does do direct channeling with me. So if at the end of every healing session, I say, do you have any messages for so-and-so? And if not him, one of their guides or another, ascended master or divine being will speak through me out of my mouth. And and it was a really interesting experience when that first started happening, but we can go into that. But so it's like a combination of all of those things.
Yeah. And, it's really interesting when you talk about that too, as well. I always find it so fascinating about the different levels of energies and availability of ascended masters, open to us. And they're just kind of waiting for us to kind of waken up and kind of say, hey, we're up here, want to help. But yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly it. So with your channeling, what do you think was the reason that, I wouldn't say they picked you or you chose this? Like, I mean, because the angelic realm is so massive, it's so big, it's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just get chills thinking about it, talking about it. What I'm trying to articulate is you talked about the various levels of, of angels. So just talk briefly about that. So Ian is a seraphim. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. You said? Mm-hmm. So what are the other levels? So is that in the archangel realm?
Okay, so
yeah, let's just kind of just touch on this a bit.
Yeah, so that aspect is slightly confusing because there is an archangel realm that is a little closer to the guardian angel dimensional level. So it's a little closer to the where the humans exist. That said, though, some of the beings that we refer to as archangels do exist in the seraphim realm. So that's kind of where the confusion comes. But seraphim is like I said, just below Elohim, and which is just below source energy, which, there's also the cherubim and the, oh God, now my brain's going, I don't know. But there are several other levels within that, and none of the levels are better or worse than the other. So I don't want, some people tend to create an importance hierarchy with it, but it's not. It just determines the things that they are assigned to oversee and work with. So don't hear the word hierarchical and assume that means better or worse or more important or less important than. And I'm speaking to the listeners.